For most of history, artillery was about range, mass, and patience. Then rocket artillery changed everything. Suddenly, firepower could arrive faster, deeper, and with far less warning. Entire battlefields could be reshaped in minutes instead of hours. In modern warfare, rocket artillery doesn't just support maneuver, it defines it. Today, we're breaking down why rocket artillery fundamentally changed how wars are fought. If you want serious military analysis without the fluff, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. For centuries, artillery was the dominant killer on the battlefield. From smoothbore cannons to rifled howitzers, the basic logic remained the same. Mass fires applied deliberately to shape the battlefield over time. Artillery was powerful, but it was slow. Fire missions required setup, ranging, correction, and sustained exposure. Even when effective, conventional tube artillery was constrained by rate of fire, barrel wear, and the time it took to reposition. Rocket artillery shattered those constraints. Rocket artillery did not simply extend the range of artillery. It altered the relationship between time, distance, and violence. Where tube artillery emphasized persistence and gradual attrition, rocket artillery emphasized saturation, speed, and shock. This shift changed not only how battles were fought, but how entire campaigns were planned. The key difference lies in delivery. Traditional artillery fires shells one at a time. Each round follows a ballistic arc, corrected through observation. Rocket artillery delivers multiple rockets almost simultaneously, saturating a target area before the enemy can react. The effect is not just destructive, it is psychologically overwhelming. Entire units can be neutralized before they have time to disperse or respond. This compression of time is what makes rocket artillery so transformative. In earlier wars, artillery dominance required sustained presence. Guns had to remain in position long enough to deliver meaningful effects. That made them vulnerable to counter-battery fire. Rocket artillery changed that equation. A launcher can arrive, fire an entire salvo in seconds, and relocate before the enemy can detect, target, and respond. Shoot and scoot became the defining logic of modern fires. This dramatically increased survivability. It also increased lethality. Enemy forces no longer had time to adapt once a fire mission began. By the time counter-battery systems responded, the launchers were already gone. Range multiplied this advantage. Rocket artillery extended the reach of fires far beyond traditional artillery envelopes. Deep targets once considered safe, command posts, logistics hubs, air defenses, reserves, became vulnerable. This forced adversaries to disperse, harden, and relocate assets, complicating every aspect of planning. The battlefield stopped having a clear rear. This shift had cascading effects. Commanders could now shape the battlefield deep into enemy territory without committing maneuver forces. Operational depth collapsed. Logistics became exposed. Command and control nodes became priority targets. Rocket artillery didn't just support maneuver. It dictated maneuver. Historically, maneuver forces advanced under the protection of artillery. With rocket artillery, fires could precede maneuver at unprecedented depth and speed. Entire defensive belts could be suppressed or disrupted before ground forces made contact. This changed how offensives were designed. Instead of grinding forward through layered defenses, forces could strike critical nodes deep in the enemy system. Rocket artillery enabled operational paralysis, not just tactical destruction. Accuracy amplified this effect. Early rocket artillery systems prioritized saturation over precision. Accuracy was secondary to volume. Modern systems changed that. Advances in guidance transformed rocket artillery from an area weapon into a precision strike platform. Guided rockets blurred the line between artillery and missiles. Precision allowed rocket artillery to destroy high-value targets with fewer rounds. This reduced logistics burden while increasing strategic impact. A single launcher could neutralize assets once requiring airstrikes or special operations. This created new escalation dynamics. Because rocket artillery could deliver strategic-level effects without aircraft or pilots, it lowered the political threshold for deep strikes. States could apply force with reduced risk, increasing the temptation to escalate. This is why rocket artillery plays such a central role in modern escalation control debates. Its capabilities sit at the intersection of tactical, operational, and strategic warfare. Modern conflicts demonstrate this clearly. Rocket artillery has become one of the most decisive systems in contemporary warfare. It shapes tempo, determines survivability, and influences political decision-making. Its presence forces adversaries to adapt their entire force posture. Defenses must be mobile. Logistics must be dispersed. Command structures must be hardened. Even then, vulnerability remains. Rocket artillery also transformed counter-battery warfare. In the past, counter-battery relied on spotting firing guns and responding with massed fires. Rocket artillery's speed and mobility disrupted that cycle. Modern counter-battery now depends on advanced sensors, radar, and rapid decision loops. This turned fires into a contest of detection and reaction speed. The side that finds first and fires first gains disproportionate advantage. Rocket artillery thrives in this environment because it compresses timelines beyond human reaction speed. Automation and integration amplify this further. Modern rocket artillery is not a standalone system. It is integrated into networks of sensors, drones, satellites, and command systems. Targeting data flows rapidly from detection to engagement, often within minutes or seconds. This sensor-to-shooter loop is what makes rocket artillery so lethal. The launcher itself is only one piece of the system. The true power lies in the network. As those networks improve, rocket artillery becomes even more dominant. This integration also democratizes firepower. States without large air forces can still deliver deep precision effects. Rocket artillery offers strategic reach without air superiority. This reshapes balance of power calculations, especially for smaller or resource-constrained militaries. It also complicates deterrence. Because rocket artillery can deliver effects traditionally associated with higher-level systems, adversaries may struggle to interpret intent. A strike intended as operational shaping may be perceived as strategic escalation. This ambiguity increases risk. Rocket artillery's psychological impact should not be underestimated. The suddenness, intensity, and unpredictability of rocket strikes create disproportionate morale effects. Units under rocket attack often report confusion, disorientation, and loss of cohesion even when casualties are limited. This psychological shock multiplies physical damage. From a defensive perspective, rocket artillery forces dispersion. Concentration becomes dangerous. Large formations become liabilities. This erodes traditional mass-based doctrines and favors smaller, more flexible units. Doctrine evolves accordingly. Modern armies design operations assuming rocket artillery will be present on both sides. Survivability depends on mobility, deception, and rapid relocation. Static positions invite destruction. This fundamentally alters battlefield geometry. Rocket artillery also affects logistics at scale. Supply depots, fuel nodes, ammunition storage, and transportation hubs become high-priority targets. Sustaining operations under persistent rocket threat becomes exponentially harder. This shifts emphasis from forward momentum to sustainment resilience. In prolonged conflicts, rocket artillery often determines which side can maintain operational tempo. It punishes predictability and rewards adaptability. Technology continues to push these trends further. Extended-range rockets, improved guidance, and enhanced networking expand reach and responsiveness. As ranges increase, traditional distinctions between tactical and strategic fires blur further. This has direct implications for escalation control. The ability to strike deep without aircraft or overt strategic systems complicates signaling. Adversaries may misinterpret intent or feel compelled to respond at higher levels. Rocket artillery becomes not just a battlefield weapon, but a political instrument. This dual role is what makes it so transformative and so dangerous. Modern warfare increasingly revolves around who controls time and space. Rocket artillery excels at compressing both. It delivers decisive effects quickly and from unexpected directions. That advantage shapes every level of war. Commanders plan differently. Defenders posture differently. Political leaders calculate risk differently. Rocket artillery did not replace tube artillery. It redefined the fire's ecosystem. Together, they create layered, complementary effects. Tube artillery provides persistence. Rocket artillery provides shock. Combined, they dominate the modern battlefield. This is why rocket artillery is no longer optional. Any force that ignores it accepts vulnerability. Any force that masters it gains disproportionate influence over the fight. Rocket artillery changed modern warfare because it changed the rules of engagement. It collapsed depth, accelerated tempo, and blurred escalation thresholds. Wars are still fought by people, but they are increasingly shaped by systems like this. And rocket artillery sits at the center of that transformation.